The story of the Koh-i-Noor, the diamond that cursed empires. They say whoever owns the Koh-i-Noor diamond will own the world, but every man who has possessed it has lost everything. Perhaps that's why it now sits under bulletproof glass in the Tower of London, worn only by queens, never kings. This is the blood-soaked story of the world's most infamous diamond, a gem that has witnessed more murder, betrayal, and imperial collapse than any crown jewel in history. The Mountain of Light. The name itself whispers of ancient power. Koh-i-Noor, Mountain of Light in Persian. Weighing 186 carats in its original form, this wasn't just any diamond. It was a stone that seemed to concentrate the very essence of sovereignty itself. But here's where the mystery deepens. We don't actually know where it came from. Legend claims it was mined in India's Golconda region over 5,000 years ago, possibly even mentioned in ancient Sanskrit texts as the legendary Siamantaka jewel that brought both fortune and calamity to its owners. Some historians believe it adorned the eye of a Hindu deity before being torn from its sacred setting. Others trace its first definitive appearance to the 14th century Kakatiya dynasty. What we do know with chilling certainty is that from its very first recorded appearance, the diamond left a trail of corpses in its wake. The curse begins. The first documented owner we can name with confidence was Alauddin Khilji, the ruthless Sultan of Delhi who seized it in 1310 after a blood-soaked campaign. Within a generation, his dynasty crumbled into chaos. Coincidence? Perhaps. But watch what happens next. The diamond passed through various hands, each time accompanied by assassination, betrayal, or conquest, until it came to rest with Babur, founder of the Mughal Empire, in 1526. Here's where it gets fascinating. Babur himself recorded in his memoir that the stone was valued at half the daily expense of the whole world. Can you imagine? Half the world's daily expense for a single stone. But Babur died young. His son Humayun was driven into exile. The pattern was forming. Shah Jahan and the Golden Age's dark secret. The diamond's most famous era came under Shah Jahan, the emperor who built the Taj Mahal. It was set into his legendary peacock throne, a monument to excess worth an estimated $1 billion in today's money. Shah Jahan presided over India's Golden Age, yes, but here's what they don't tell you in the tour guides. His son Aurangzeb imprisoned him in his own palace, where Shah Jahan spent his final years staring across the river at the Taj Mahal, the tomb he'd built for his beloved wife. He could see it, but never visit. Some say he had only the Koh-i-Noor for company in his cell, its brilliant facets reflecting the monument to his lost love. When he died in 1666, he was still a prisoner. Aurangzeb himself, despite ruling for nearly 50 years, watched the Mughal Empire begin its slow collapse. His sons rebelled, the empire fractured. The curse, it seemed, respected no one, not even the most powerful emperors in the world. The Persian plunderer. Then came Nader Shah of Persia, and this is where the story takes a turn worthy of Hollywood. In 1739, Nader Shah sacked Delhi in one of history's most brutal raids, massacring tens of thousands and looting treasure beyond imagination. But the Koh-i-Noor, it had vanished. The defeated Mughal emperor, Muhammad Shah, had hidden it somewhere. Nader Shah tore the palace apart searching for it. Here's where legend and history blur beautifully. A disgruntled harem woman, seeking revenge, whispered a secret to Nader Shah. The Mughal emperor wore the diamond hidden in his turban. But how to get it? Nader Shah was nothing if not clever. He proposed a peace ceremony, one where the two rulers would exchange turbans as a symbol of eternal friendship. An old tradition that Muhammad Shah couldn't refuse without looking weak. The defeated emperor, trapped by protocol, unwrapped his turban. That night, in his tent, Nader Shah unwound the captured turban, and there it was. The diamond caught the lamplight and he gasped, "Koh-i-Noor, Mountain of Light." The name stuck, but here's the twist. Nader Shah's triumph lasted barely 8 years. He descended into paranoid madness, suspecting everyone of plotting against him. In 1747, his own guards assassinated him. The curse had struck again. The Sikh stronghold. Through a dizzying succession of murders and thefts, The diamond eventually came to Maharaja Ranjit Singh, the Lion of Punjab, in 1813. Now, Ranjit Singh was different. He'd heard the legends. He knew the history. So he did something remarkable. He wore the diamond on his arm, not his crown, and left specific instructions in his will that it should be given to a Hindu temple in Odisha after his death, returning it to the gods. It almost worked. Ranjit Singh lived longer than most Koh-i-Noor owners and died in his bed, rare for possessors of the cursed gem. But here's the tragedy. His court didn't honor his wishes. His death triggered a cascade of assassinations and coups. 4 Maharajas were murdered in rapid succession. His kingdom, which he'd spent 40 years building, collapsed in less than a decade. The British were watching, waiting. The empire that never let go. In 1849, after the Second Anglo-Sikh War, 10-year-old Maharaja Duleep Singh was forced to sign a document transferring the Koh-i-Noor to Queen Victoria. Let's be clear about what happened. This wasn't a gift. It was imperial theft, formalized with a child's signature. The British, perhaps aware of the curse or perhaps just sexist enough to believe it naturally, established a new tradition. The Koh-i-Noor would only be worn by queens or queen consorts, never kings. And it has been. Queen Victoria, Queen Alexandra, Queen Mary, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, and briefly, Queen Elizabeth II, all women. And here's the eerie part. Since entering British possession, every king or potential king associated with the stone has suffered. Edward VII saw the empire beginning its decline. Edward VIII abdicated. George VI died young. Even Prince Albert, who organized its infamous recutting, reducing it from 186 to 105 carats in a botched operation that removed much of its fire, died young at 42. The diamond that won't go home today. 4 countries claim the Koh-i-Noor: India, Pakistan, Iran, and Afghanistan. The British government's response? It's been here for over 170 years. Possession is 9/10 of the law. They've refused every request for its return, knowing that giving it back might open floodgates of repatriation claims for thousands of other looted artifacts. But here's the final twist that should make your skin crawl. Curators at the Tower of London report that the diamond attracts more visitors than almost any other object in the crown jewels. Millions of people each year press their faces to the bulletproof glass, staring at a stone that has caused more suffering than perhaps any other object in human history. Is it cursed? That depends on whether you believe in curses. But consider this. The Koh-i-Noor has passed through the hands of Mughal emperors, Persian shahs, Afghan emirs, Sikh maharajas, and British monarchs. Every single empire or dynasty that possessed it has either fallen, fragmented, or faced catastrophic decline. The Mountain of Light sits in its case in London, still brilliant, still beautiful, and still, perhaps, waiting. Waiting for the day when it might trade hands again, when another ruler might be seduced by its legendary fire, when the cycle of power and downfall might begin anew. After all, as they say in India, he who owns the Koh-i-Noor owns the world. They just never mention what that ownership costs. The question isn't whether the curse is real. The question is, would you be willing to test it?